Hello. How's everybody doing? How we doing? How's it kicking? How's it going? How's it hanging? Take this off. Hi, Proxima. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. I have a bit of a headache. Work for some reason changed the lights, and the lights were like really bright, so it gave me a freaking headache. And I've had a headache like almost all day. Um, which sucks because I actually slept well today. Anyhow, we are here. I'm gonna try my best not to let the headache get to me. I drink water. We're okay. We're okay. Everything is okay. Let's see. Let's go. I'm doing good. Proxima. Hello, Fate. Hello, Animesh cover. Hello, Blacklands Joe. Hello, Ratatouille. Radio 2? Rato 2? I'm just calling you Ratatouille. Ratatouille. I like that movie. That's a good ass movie. So there's a few things we need to go through here. I thought I'd read the comments section today, see what people had to say. I'm gonna read through Twitter, and we're gonna read through Reddit. The other thing too is hi, Verkez. I might not be able to stay until the end, but since I missed yesterday's stream, I want to at least tune in for a bit today. Verkez, if you want, I can like read your comment first in the serious discussion since you're not going to be here very long. I can just read yours first. Tell me how long you're going to stay here so I can have like a guesstimate. Right now, I'm just like doing the intro. The other thing too is that what is it? The Ruka thing is getting an announcement today. It is yet to happen. They said it would be today, or like it's supposed to be Thursday, but it's their Thursday already. The announcement is yet to happen. I've yet to see it, so we have to keep track of Twitter. I have to occasionally like go here and check on Twitter. Like this is their account. They said like right here. Oh wait, let me pull it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Lower this. Yeah, so they said like right here, the 29th, there's going to be some sort of announcement for the Ruka thing. We're finally going to see what the fuck this is, maybe. But so far, we do not know. They said good morning for today, and that's it. We don't have any other information. So hopefully, maybe by the later point in this stream, they announce it, or it might get announced like even later, like at midnight, because it's like early morning for them, I guess, right now. So we don't know. So for now, you think my idea for the Ruka announcement will be canon? What's your idea? I forgot what your idea was. 3D model. You'll have to remind me. But yeah, Verkas, tell me how long you're here. I guess I can just go straight to your comment for now, and we can start by reading it. Is it gonna be like a Jiminy Christmas long? Oh yeah, it is a long. It is long. Long shlong. Yeah, interestingly, we read your comment last week, Verkez, and it was quite interesting. There were some points I disagreed with. I think it was like near the end of it where I was like kind of disagreeing with some stuff, but I don't remember the details of what I disagreed with. It's around 8:42 a.m. in Tokyo. Yeah, so most likely for them, it'll probably be announced at like 12, like at noon. Uh, for me, I'm guessing it was like a travel vlog. See, I think that's too easy. The travel vlog thing, I feel like that's too easy. There's a bit of hype brewing. Why would you brew this kind of hype if it's just a fucking travel vlog? That doesn't seem realistic to me. I feel like Ruka might be getting a spin-off. This really just feels like a spin-off. I doubt it's just gonna be a fucking vlog. It doesn't feel realistic. The discussion was long and a bit wild this week. Sorry. It's cool. Yesterday's discussion was long anyway. Usually at 6 p.m. they announce something in Japan, so 9 hours more. Ah, fuck. So I guess I'll stream tomorrow and we'll find out. I'll have to see then. Okay, so let me start by reading Verkas's discussion on chapter 378. It's a long one. Sit tight, fellas. I said the last two times already that I expect there to be a catch, a surprise revelation during her talk, so it's not hard to think that the teaser will refer to that. I guess the catch was that we got caught. Well, we didn't really get to the point yet, but yes, the butt referred to some kind of catch with her answer. It was more Kazuya who felt a butt coming from Chizuru, who immediately corrected herself. I don't know if you mentioned it here, but we were talking about the Japanese yesterday. Let me see if K-Manga's still down. If it is, I'll just pull it up on my computer. Yeah, it's still down. Okay, so I'll put it up on my computer. Let's see, pictures. I downloaded it yesterday, 378, right here. So Chizuru's don't do this. Don't do this. Come on, computer. Work with me. Work with me. Work with me. So Chizuru's or actually here, it's not quite. Okay, according to my friends, like the literal translation of what Chizuru says here is more akin to maybe but isn't or maybe but isn't the right word for it. As she turns away, so it works better for Kazuya's reaction when you say it like that, or maybe but isn't the right word for it. So that's something I kind of wanted to point out is that she doesn't say or actually, she says something a little different. I think this is like kind of the localization at play here. The subversion of the negativity has kind of been like the whole thing of this series. It's starting with this oh no foreboding, or not just the series, just like this arc is like starting with this negative feeling, and then a boom subversion is actually positive. Surprise, motherfucker. Who here's seen Dexter? Anyways, so so let's see here. So that's kind of the thing I wanted to point out really quick. Your friend is correct. She said, but wasn't quite right. Yeah. Well, we didn't really get to that point. Yes. Okay. This was the first chapter of Chizuru's answer, so let's analyze it. We start with a flashback. Chizuru has a few guys asking her out in high school. She has turned down a few, has avoided some confession, and has also put some guys on hold. She asks Sayuri about her experiences. Sayuri says that at least 100 guys asked her out or even proposed to her, but Katsuhiro was the only one she felt like marrying. Chizuru says that guys keep asking her out, and it makes her feel bad to see them sad. Still, she doesn't want to date them because she doesn't love them. When Sayuri asks if she turned them down, Chizuru tries to evade the answer. It's clear she wasn't. It's clear she wasn't. Sayuri doesn't like that. It's clear she didn't like turn them down. So Sayuri doesn't like that. She tells her not to become a shallow girl who leaves guys hanging. If she knows she doesn't love them, she has to reject them immediately so they can move on to someone else. It doesn't matter if this makes the guy sad and makes her feel bad. It is the right thing to do, and she needs to take pride in that. With that notion, we return to the present. Chizuru owes it to Kazuya to give him an answer. She must not leave him hanging, as Sayuri said. If she doesn't love him, she needs to reject him to set him free. No matter how painful it might be, it is the right thing to do. Kazuya is sweating. He knows that her answer is coming up, and he doesn't feel ready. Chizuru starts by thanking him for the date, for his efforts, for the time living together, and for waiting for his answer. She also tells him that it made her happy that he looked after her this time, that time, and how she enjoyed seeing him have fun with the kids at the daycare center. Kazuya has a bad feeling about this. This type of answer sounds like there's a but coming. Yeah, right? Like you can feel it when you're reading that. You're like, where's that fucking but? If Chizuru says a lot of nice things now, that means there's something negative coming. This is not a good sign at all. This relationship could already be doomed. Sure enough, there is a but from Chizuru, but she corrects herself to actually. What next? The teaser for next time is maybe. Interestingly, Vericaz, my friend actually got the maybe wrong. Like he mistranslated because he overthought the text and then he just translated it. He's like, wait, no, your friend was right. Vericaz was right. As with the last teaser, this is quite generic. It'll probably refer to something about Chizuru's answer, but we can't say exactly. There's a few guesses we can take on what the maybe is. The maybe could be from Chizuru's perspective. The maybe could be from Kazuya's perspective. It could be Kazuya saying maybe there's hope, right? The idea of the maybe is kind of rooted in that idea of hope. So I think that's kind of maybe where the maybe's gonna be present, right? So I think that could be where it is. There's too many guesses you can take. What can we expect from Chizuru now? The flashback as well as her compliments should suggest that rejection is coming. This is how it feels to Kazuya now as well. I think this is a bait to increase the tension. However, it certainly doesn't sound like a confession is coming. Chizuru is still conflicted. I'm sure she doesn't think she loves Kazuya from what her grandma told her. It is clear that Chizuru must think it would be right to reject Kazuya. That's also what you would probably take from Chizuru's words in the masseuse. Chizuru there also said that she can't just reject him. She set up the talk like a rejection, but she doesn't actually have any negative to say about Kazuya. Everything she said makes her want to be with him even more. After everything she liked, there just isn't something she doesn't like, but it's not what she actually means. He is perfect for her. We know that Chizuru can absolutely see herself marrying Kazuya. Her question went in that direction, and the ring also points towards marriage. Sari told her that Katsuhito was the only one who made her feel like she wanted to marry him, so Chizuru doesn't feel like all that different for Kazuya here. Chizuru thinks she might not love Kazuya and that she might never come to love him even more, but she wants to be with him forever anyway, so you can do the right thing and reject him. Countdown movie got tomorrow, still on the date. Oh my god, you wrote. Oh, there's more. If she knows she doesn't love him, she has to reject him so they can move on to somewhere else. But see, there's something kind of important I think we're really missing here. Why would Chizuru string him along in this entire sequence if she was going to just reject him? There's a lot of contradictions happening here. Now, a big thing to point out about this entire sequence is that a reason this could have all happened in the first place, the whole like living together and doing all that and all that stuff, is because it's very clear. Let me pull it up. It's very clear that after the 3 months happened, it became very clear that Chizuru had really kind of lost her character. We talked about this in the last stream. When Chizuru lets Minnie into her home here, it became very clear that Chizuru had a lack of a sense of character. She really couldn't be confident in her choices anymore, and the guilt was kind of eating her up. And how people felt, like people feeling sad about her actions or people being hurt by her actions, was really, really getting to her. And so Chizuru was not at a point where she can reject people or push people away, and she doesn't want to push people away, and she's just kind of lost, so she just isolates and stops kind of really interacting. She doesn't know what to do, right? Chizuru just kind of lost her character, and she needed someone like Minnie to push her in that right direction, to just tell her, okay, like, I get it. Come on. This camera, dude. Ugh. Sorry. Give me a sec. Just. Okay. Okay. It's okay. I think we're all good now. She really just needed someone to push her in that right direction, right? She needed someone to push her in the right direction and to point out to her, like, hey, you're fucking up. She needed a friend, and that's why she lets Minnie into her home. Remember, this entire portion with Minnie, if you think about it, doesn't really make sense. She's not talking to Kazuya. She's afraid to interact with Kazuya. Yes, she runs into Minnie, and she lets Minnie into her home. She could have just said no. But like you could argue it's hospitality, whatever we want to call it at this point. You could argue that, but no, Chizuru lets her into her home. And she opens up to Minnie. She starts talking about shit, even if it doesn't make fucking sense. And eventually, she opens up about her guilt. She opens up about all these things, even if they're a little bit confusing. And that ultimately leads Chizuru to get confronted by Minnie, to get called out by her, like, but you're just running away, aren't you? If you don't understand your own feelings, that's all the more reason for you to talk it out, right? You gotta fucking talk it out. You gotta step out of your shell. You can't just, like, get stuck in there. Chizuru gets a call out by Minnie, and eventually we get to the sequence, and Chizuru finally, like, steps out of her shadow. I think to recognize that Chizuru did that is to recognize that Chizuru is not going to reject him, and she literally can't. She can't, and she still doesn't know what to do. This isn't a rejection. However, I kind of want to read something I wrote. I wrote something on Twitter the other day, like literally yesterday, to point out kind of something important. So let me pull up the pages while we're starting this. Whoop. Okay. The start and the end of this chapter parallel each other in reverse ways. In the opening, it's Chizuru being confessed to and turning someone down. And in the ending, It's framed as Chizuru responding to someone as if, mirroring the ending, like she's turning someone down. But in reality, it might be Chizuru confessing. Why? Bear with me. Why? Why is it kind of Chizuru confessing? Well, let's keep reading. Another thing I want to point out is how Chizuru wants to avoid looking at things. You'll see that right here in the cover. Chizuru's eyes are closed when responding. Chizuru looks down when the dude's heart gets broken. Let's go to the next page. Right? Is Chizuru looking here? She's turning and facing us. We turn to this. Chizuru gets a text. She's walking home. She gets a text. And then she sees this dude. And she does not want to deal with this. So she runs away. And then she keeps looking at this, and this thing is like eating her up. There's just this guilt eating her up. Then she turns to Sayuri, sees how happy she is, and she's almost jealous of Sayuri. So she wants to talk to her. Did guys ask you out a lot, Grandma, right? So Sayuri just fucking loses it. She's like, what? And they talk. And Chizuru hears like how often she got asked out. She starts freaking out. Like, look at her. She's such a teenager and she still has these traits even now. Sayuri says this, and Chizuru, she always reacts weird to like sappy emotional stuff. But Katsuhiro was the only one who made me feel like I wanted to marry him. Look at Chizuru. She's like, oh, she getting sappy. She even says it, right? And she sees this, but look at what happens. But why do you ask? When it becomes about her, Chizuru turns away, right? It doesn't look like Chizuru's looking at her. Chizuru is looking down and saying all these words. And she keeps talking. And she closes her eyes. Sayuri asks again, but again, Sayuri's face is blanked out. So you turn them down, right? Chizuru looks away again, right? I mean, I don't know how serious they are. 2 or 3 guys ask me out every day. They could be just joking. Chizuru closes her eyes, swings her hair. Sayuri just looks at her and she's like, what the fuck? Okay, fine. I'm taking your literal sweets away for not being good. And listen, Chizuru, you are beautiful and cute. Why are you bringing this up? Chizuru can't take a compliment. We fucking know this. And then she calls her out on her shit. Okay, so as I was saying here, she runs away when seeing someone waiting for her. Heck, when Sayuri asks what she did, she can't look at her. Her face is blank. This is until Sayuri makes her look. Sayuri forces her to look by taking away this thing that is giving her a sense of comfort. Chizuru has found this like comfort in this thing, and Sayuri's taking that away, so Chizuru will start looking, right? You can't just be lazy about this, if you will. Sayuri calls out Chizuru's behavior of not wanting to see people hurt. The choice to make it easier on herself, challenging her to be honest about how she feels and giving her answer clearly if she knows, taking pride in being asked out and turning them down earnestly to feel that pain. I pointed out earlier, like I was saying, like this is pretty similar to what Minnie said, and it informs a lot of the stuff that happened in the 3-month time skip. It even informs a little bit of the rental stuff. This is where it gets interesting. But even more so, notice how Chizuru's eyes are wide open here versus the opening where they're closed. One is in light, one is in shadow. One is from afar, one is up close. One is cool and collected, the other is hot and messy. These events are opposite yet intentionally connected. Seriously, look at this. Look at how Chizuru looks here. Look at how Chizuru looks here. It's not the same. These events are reversed. In a lot of ways, Kazuya walking away is much like Sayuri walking away in that flashback. He's leaving, if you will, and she doesn't want him to leave. The but is intentionally misleading you as the viewer, just as the opening is. We need to see Kazuya's side because it's our side. What do I mean by this? Well, I was reading comments yesterday, and some people said, like, oh, Kazuya's sides are actually, like, missing the point, like, they're kind of removing from Chizuru's confession here. But I think Kazuya, what he's experiencing in this sequence is actually very intrinsic to what Chizuru was experiencing in the beginning, because he's essentially being put in her position. What do I mean by this? Kazuya misinterpreting events and freaking out is us misinterpreting events and freaking out. Yeah, we know Kazuya isn't going to get rejected, maybe. Or maybe we will, maybe we don't. But that idea is being put in your head is intentionally. And that is meant to scare you. But what you're misinterpreting is that this chapter doesn't resolve because in a lot of ways, we never understood it in the first place. The ending highlights what we haven't been seeing this entire time. That this is Chizuru taking a leap of faith. Okay, remember what I said last time about how Chizuru is in the position of the people who are confessing to her, and Kazuya is in the position of the person being confessed to? Whereas the opening is about rejecting people in earnest if you're not in love, the ending is about accepting that fear you feel in showing you're in love because now you are placing yourself in their shoes. Chizuru, having seen how these people have experienced, like having understood these people's pain in rejecting them, now places herself in their shoes. And I think the opening is intentionally fucking misleading us. It's intentionally misleading us to pull that one under our feet, right? Because now you're placing yourself in their shoes, putting yourself where they were and taking pride in that, yin and yang. Okay, seriously, look at their positions. Chizuru is where the men who confessed to her were, and Kazuya stands where the other men, or where others are usually confessed to. We're not seeing the obvious. This is not about rejection, but preparing to be rejected and accepting the pain of that to get happiness. I think next chapter might reveal about how maybe Chizuru considers herself unworthy in some ways. Maybe because Chizuru is uncertain, she thinks she can't be in a relationship. Maybe that's it. Maybe because Chizuru can't reject him, and she can't accept him either. Maybe she wants Kazuya to reject her. Maybe this is what this is. Maybe she wants maybe she's just opening up and being clear about her lack of certainty, and she's letting Kazuya decide himself. Like, let Kazuya reject her. And so what's happening here is they're both essentially in the equal positions. Kazuya is in the position of being confessed to and in the position of hearing her answer. Chizuru is in the position of confessing and in the position of what's it called? Giving her answer to a confession. That's what this is. The chapter is brilliant in that way because now Kazuya's thoughts freaking out are recontextualized. Think of them not from the perspective of not from the prospect of rejection, but from how Chizuru felt being confessed to. He now knows how she felt and how quickly her mind used to race then, right? So now Kazuya is again possibly being put in like that unfair position of you got to make a tough choice. That's not easy. That's not clean. And I think that's why Chizuru has not stopped Kazuya from moving. That's why Chizuru has not has let Kazuya make all the decisions in the state. That's why she's let him take control, because in the end, ironically, she's pushing the choice onto him because she herself cannot make a choice. I think that might be what's going on. That could be she can't make a choice, so she's giving the choice to him. I can't decide. I don't know what to do. All yours, right? She's putting the ball back in his court. And I feel like in so doing, she's trying to give up her autonomy. And I think that in itself might lead to the fight. That could be what leads into the fight. The fact that it's throwing this maybe curveball onto Kazuya, where now he's the one who has to decide, is like, he's probably gonna be like, that's so fucking unfair. What do you want me to fucking do? That's so unfair. And I think that unfairness will lead to them getting into a fight. The fact that it's gonna lead into a fight is gonna be because Chizuru is not deciding, and it's like, bro, what the fuck? Like, you're supposed to, like, right? It's very unfair, but that fits in line with the thematic idea of this date, which is to be selfish, right? You're finally starting to see the negative aspects of this selfishness finally really reel its ugly head. The chapter ending in perfect symmetry as it does reflects that. The two panels are perfect squares. Chizuru's words reaching Kazuya, one in dark one is in dark as light shines, the other in light while shadows are behind. Perfectly balanced like a bridge, like yin and yang, true equilibrium. See what I mean? She's shadowed out, but light is illuminating. Light is behind Kazuya, shadow is behind Kazuya, but he himself is illuminated. The first thing we see when we get to them is a bridge, her umbrella closed because there's no protection, a light glowing in the dark, and their hands connecting. Like, it can't be any more straightforward. The chapter is about the lack of certainty that comes with asking someone out, and the certainty that one must deliver in response if they have an answer, not the other way around. And yet, this chapter is the other way around, right? Chizuru is giving an answer is also her confessing. She plays both roles, as does Kazuya, which theoretically shouldn't make any fucking sense. That reversal of roles is core to the chapter's themes, its conclusion, and even the discussion of gender norms brought up in chapter 367 and what roles people have in relationships. Men confessing when being confessed to. It's all the opposite of who Chizuru is, and yet she's trying to give that up in favor of the path that is easier, I would argue. The teaser for next time is maybe. It's hard to guess what that would mean, but maybe how. I already said what I said here, but yeah. Let's see what you guys had to say. I also read something short about Sayuri's story about Katsuhito because the translation was quite bad. Really? Wait, really? Huh. You don't realize what you have until it's gone. We got a taste of it in the flashback when Sayuri takes away the watermelon. Connect the dots. Oh, yeah. I guess technically you're right. Yes, I think she will let Kazuya decide her fate. If she tells him honestly that she might not love him, he might reject the relationship with her. It's a situation where she could be rejected. And that's what I mean. Chizuru is trying to give... Do you guys remember my original theory about this date? Do you remember what I have been saying about this date from the very fucking beginning? That Chizuru has been giving up her autonomy to make Kazuya happy. She has been doing this a lot, and we had instances like this where even then she realized she was leading, and then she's like, you know what do you think is best? And even then, even in this moment where she takes autonomy back, she still needed his approval to do it. Do you see the issues? Chizuru is trying to give up her free will as maybe a form of atonement, which is not how you get into a fucking relationship. That's that thing that has been there this entire time is now reeling its ugly head, and I think people never saw the signs because they were too busy being excited and happy about this date. But they were always there. Chizuru has been doing this entire fucking time, and in so doing, taking Kazuya's autonomy and agency away. In making these choices, you are robbing the person around you of a choice, and she does not realize she's been doing this. I have a feeling that this date won't end in a confession. Chizuru and Kazuya will drift apart and being... No, I don't think so. I think they're going to get into a fucking fight. They're going to get mad, and they're going to kiss, and they're going to let out their feelings, and, you know, it might escalate to sex, you know, but, like, that is going to leave that uncertainty of things. I think Kazuya will confront Chizuru about her feelings, and they will end up having a fucking fight. I'm, like, getting more confident about my fight theory, that there's going to be a fight between these two idiots, and Kazuya will finally start pointing out how unfair Chizuru has been, that, like, Chizuru is not realizing what she's doing wrong, and she cannot see that, and she's trying to let go because she's uncomfortable with making wrong choices, as we literally fucking see in the goddamn flashback, because what happened in the flashback, mind you? What happened in that flashback, mind you? Where does the flashback end? Where does the flashback end? The flashback never gets a resolution, does it? We never see her actually turn someone down. We never actually see Chizuru turn anybody down, right? In the beginning we do, at the start, and then she starts hating that feeling. But in the end of it, after Sayuri tells her to do this, she doesn't do anything. She just gets mad at them. She gets distracted by them. Geez, you're so annoying. She's annoyed by being forced to make this choice. Just as right now, she's not comfortable making the current choice that she has to make. It all connects. You have to see what the point of this was. And so, us seeing Kazuya's perspective, us misinterpreting events from Kazuya's perspective is core here because we don't actually get it. Kazuya doesn't get it, neither do we. We don't realize that Chizuru is not supposed to give an answer here. The resolution of this is not about an answer. We were never supposed to get an answer here. That was never the point. It's Chizuru possibly giving up her answer, and so that gives the ending of this much deeper meaning, right? Maybe Bud isn't the right answer, but she doesn't give an answer because just as in the flashback, she doesn't give an answer. Even in the beginning begins with an answer, and then Chizuru doesn't like that answer, right? Are you seeing what they're cooking? Are you seeing what Reiji's cooking? She gives an answer. She doesn't like the answer. She doesn't want to keep giving this answer. Sayuri tells her, you have to give that answer. Chizuru does not like that, even though what she's saying makes some sense, and it ends with her being annoyed. We turn to Chizuru here, who looks different from back then. Clearly, her answer is the opposite, yet she doesn't want to give an answer. And we end with no answer. Again, Chizuru's character literally had a little mini arc in here that actually explained the lack of choices Chizuru has been making this entire fucking time. And yet, ironically, do you want to know the choice Chizuru did make here? Chizuru did make a choice similar to a choice she made in the very beginning. You want to know what that is? I want to talk right here. That's the choice Chizuru made. The chapter, the first half and the second half connect and end the same exact way. They begin in Chizuru making a choice that this is where I want this to be, right? Just as in the opening, this is the result I want it to be for this person. But as it's playing out, Chizuru makes a mistake in what she said, and she doesn't like that. Just as when she tells someone, sorry, I'm not interested in going out, she doesn't like that. The events are paralleling, and they end the same way. No real resolution, because there was no resolution here. You got Sayuri's point of view, but not how Chizuru actually felt about that. Did you notice how you never actually got Chizuru's thoughts here, right? You've been hearing her speak. You hear her speak in almost every sequence, but you never hear her thoughts, right? You never hear her clearly. Even in the flashback, she's lying. Even in the flashback, there are lies because she does shit like this. I don't know how serious they are. 2 or 3 guys ask me out every day. You know, they could just be joking. What? Okay, but so let's stop here. Verkaz said there were some translation issues with this chapter. He said he wrote a little thing about Sayuri. Where could you point out the Verkaz, if you're still here, could you point out where you said the whole thing about Sayuri, that there was a translation issue? I'd really like to read that. Yeah, so this was at let's see. She hasn't wait, this is the wrong one. This is the wrong one. This is where we were. It is the comment under my post. So this right here. Okay. The story Sayuri tells here about Katsuhito sending a taxi over 750 miles from her on the day they met is a bad translation. They didn't get the context. Katsuhito was a taxi driver. What Sayuri actually said, which makes a lot more sense, was roughly, on the day we met, flew me by taxi to a place 120 kilometers away. Yes, they used the metric system in the original. He was a driver, and they probably talked the whole way from Tokyo to Nagasaki, and time flew by in the blink of an eye. That's how she got to know him. That makes so much more sense. That makes so much more sense. I was wondering, the comment made no fucking sense. It's like, oh, he sent me a taxi? What the fuck does that mean? Like, what does that do? So he took her... So he flew me by taxi to... So he drove her in a taxi for 120 kilometers, or 1,200 kilometers, and the time flew by. Wow, that is a bad translation. How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up? That's really bad. Wow, so this chapter actually had a lot of messy translations. Let's see that real quick. The day we met, he sent a taxi over 70 miles just for me from Tokyo to Nagasaki. He'd say stuff like he'd jump from Shiro cliffs if he couldn't be with me. Yeah, so with the translation that you gave, this makes a lot more sense because he was talking to her the whole time. And he would say that. Wow, that's rough, dude. That's good. Hey, if you catch anything else, let me know. I'd really like to make a video on this where we like sit down. Katsuhiro took her by taxi from Tokyo to Nagasaki. The word she used was flew or skipped, meaning it went by quick. I see. Yeah, if you catch anything else, make sure to let me know. Because I'd really like to make a video talking about like these translation issues. I'd really like to keep track of these and like, actually make them into videos so we know where there are problems, especially like the ending sequence where like the or actually is genuinely bad. This is actually genuinely bad. I think they kind of really fucked up here, the or actually, because that really removes like when you hear the actual translation, it makes Kazuya's reaction to make way more sense when you hear the actual translation. But the or actually, it's like, oh, what or actually, what the fuck does that mean? Like right? Oh, actually, oh, I'm pulling one under your feet, something like that. It doesn't feel genuine. It feels really fucking stupid. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like me to read, Verkez, before you head out? There's this like big one. Chizuru obviously didn't reject Umi immediately. We don't know exactly. Oh yeah, we were talking about this yesterday with the whole Umi thing. Understand that the whole Umi thing is a lot more complicated than it looks. Not because of Umi himself, but because Chizuru herself was not in the right space of mind to deal with Umi. And I think, and you can tell she wanted to reject Umi, but Umi probably pulled the same bullshit he pulled back then, where he told her, "I don't need your answer right away," and he essentially probably pushed her away and didn't let her answer, knowing full well Chizuru might say no back then. Remember, we don't have the full complete context of what happened between Umi and Chizuru in the Tiger's Den. We do not. So it can be very easy to blame Chizuru for not answering him in 6 months, except there's a very real chance Chizuru wanted to reject him. Why? Because the way Chizuru leaves the party and the way Kazuya talks about Umi indicates that Chizuru did not want to be there and Umi bugged her. Like, especially considering Umi did not, he did not initiate this party under the pretext that he's going to confess to Chizuru. And he specifically tells her to bring Kazuya over. Verkez, watch our last stream. I specifically talk about what the fuck Umi was doing there, where he's literally like testing Kazuya and trying to pull one on him. He's trying to pull a fast one on him. And Kazuya doesn't fall for it because Kazuya doesn't know the context. So Umi's like, oh, this is my chance to confess to Chizuru, and he pulls that onto Chizuru, and my bet is what happened is he told Chizuru, I don't need your answer right away, and he doesn't let her give an answer. So Chizuru ends up leaving, she forgets about it, partially because she doesn't care, and then when Umi shows up, he shows up at a point where Chizuru is very guilty. She feels extremely guilty, and she's lacking a sense of autonomy over her choices. So she's gonna reject him there, and then he pulls it one more time, because he doesn't want her to confess. And so I cannot in good conscience blame Chizuru for the Umi sequence. I cannot, because one, I don't have the full context, and two, it's clear Chizuru wanted to reject him there and he did not let her. That's not her goddamn fault. So we don't know the full context. The big one's about Umi. It isn't really relevant. I think she might have rejected him already. Her colleagues mentioned in chapter 344 that Umi was still available again. Umi has a leverage. He is a colleague from work. He helped her with the movie Divulgence, so that's why she was so hesitant to turn him down. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's why Chizuru was hesitant to turn him down. I mentioned earlier the reason, maybe you guys are a little behind, so I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if the stream is like a little behind. We're on low latency, not super low latency, so that could be a reason. But no, I point out that the reason Chizuru might have not turned Umi down or couldn't turn Umi down right away is either Umi's extremely calculated, which yes, Umi is that character. Umi is the dude who's extremely calculated and intentionally tries to show off and look cool. One of the early here, let me pull up one of the earliest sequences to show you when Umi essentially like tricks Chizuru into going on a date with him or uses that as a leverage. That date, most people don't realize it when they're watching this. It's creepy and kind of gross. But the thing with the whole Umi thing, with the date with Chizuru that people don't realize is the date with Chizuru, in the movie arc is actually secretly, Kazuya's rental date, but but it's actually a real date. That's the thing. Umi had a terrible breakup. And you get subtleties in his dialogue that indicates Umi had a really shitty breakup and she broke up with him. He makes it sound like he broke up with her. But if you pay attention, it's clear she broke up with him. And what he's doing is he's turning to Chizuru to kind of drown out his sorrows because to him, Chizuru is in a lot of ways an amazing replacement. So he's kind of doing that. But one thing that happens that like really told me a lot about Umi's character is this sequence. So Chizuru is talking about Kazuya and she slips. And look at how Umi catches her. Look at how Umi catches her. He doesn't catch her in a way that conveys he cares about her safety. He tugs her. He tugs her arm, right? He tugs her to his side, right? He doesn't catch her comfortably, right? So like Kazuya, like if he saw that, he might trip over himself and fall on his face, but Chizuru would be okay. Umi sees that. He's fully comfortable and okay, but what does he do? He tugs her arm. What does this do? This makes him look cool, right? It gives you that heart-pumping moment, right? He's trying to look cool. He is playing a role. Basically, what's happening here is that this is the first date between Kazuya and Chizuru in reverse and selfish, because Umi represents selfish love, whereas Kazuya and Chizuru represent selfless love. Just as in this sequence, we have Ruka also show up, and she represents selfish love. And yet, Ruka, in her own selfish way, gets Kazuya to move, right? In her own selfish way, she gets Kazuya to move. That's kind of the important sequence here is like, I remember writing about this on Twitter when watching the episode. And again, it's literally selfish love. I already broke up with her, right? I already broke up, but look at his eye being hidden here. It's not just he hid this, it's that he's hiding the fact that she broke up with him, and it was a terrible fucking breakup, and he's not okay. Just as Kazuya broke up with Mommy, and he was not fucking okay. I think that's what was going on in this sequence, and that's why they're meant to fucking parallel each other here. That was the point. Not to be like, oh, look, Umi and Kazuya, and Umi's better than Kazuya. Not that. That Umi is actually more pathetic than Kazuya, arguably speaking, because he would drag a girl into this, not tell her it's a date, and then be like, oh yeah, I already broke up with her. This is a real fucking day. It's like, bro, Umi, please. So yeah, Umi's confessions are an emotional wrench for Chizuru. I don't think so. No, they're not. Umi does not have real weight in Chizuru's relationship, in his relationship with Chizuru. If anything, most of what Umi does ultimately ends up acting as guilt and uncomfortability for Chizuru. This is really important because do y'all think Umi and Chizuru were actually friends? Yes, they were. So if you guys read Maison Ikkoku, there's a character there. I think his name is like Shin, or Coach Mitaka. That's what they call him. He's literally this. With the main character, Kyoko. And they also have a relationship, and he also guilts her into a lot of stuff. And in the end, Kyoko turns to Gude for help, the main character, because she doesn't want to do this, and she doesn't she can't say no to him because she feels guilty. But ultimately, she does have to make a choice and eventually turn him down. And eventually, he turns out to be not a complete douche, and he lets her go. But then he still did awful shit. So the story punishes him by getting him to marry another girl by accident because he thinks he slept with her. And he's like, oh, I think I slept with her, so it is my duty as a man to marry her. And he later finds out he never slept with her. And it's just like the story's literally kicking him in the balls for trying to guilt Kyoko so much in the story. I'm like, yes, you get what you fucking deserve, asshole. So this is a little similar, but played out differently. A lot of Umi's actions are hidden in mystery, very fittingly, because like Chizuru, he is an actor. So you have to kind of decipher what he's doing. And you have to kind of figure out a lot about his character. You don't fully get his character. And that's why you see him in the night and you see him in strange times, right? But yeah, no, Umi is like kind of that weird character that's hard to decipher, but it's important to realize that like Chizuru really kind of wanted her. Yeah, see this? She literally wanted to reject him. She wanted to fucking leave. She was done with his shit. Anyways, sorry, but indeed doesn't look like obvious anger to me compared to this expression is obvious anger for me. Yeah, Chizuru showed a controlled anger around Umi. Anyways, so yeah, we read that. One thing I wanted to read is Mute's post. Let's see if there's anything new for the Ruka thing. Nothing yet. Let's double check it. Yep, nothing yet for the Ruka thing. I really think it's going to be like a spin-off anime. I would not be surprised. Like the team who makes Rent-A-Girlfriend loves Ruka. Loves Ruka to death. She gets all of the good shit. She gets all of the good scenes, dude. Like Ruka is gonna get like all the love. Let's be real, fellas. So I would not be surprised if she got a fucking anime. I would not be surprised. So what's going on here? It says my stream is the stream okay? Is everything okay? It says the stream is poor or something. Okay, so let's read what Mute had to say. This is a review and comment with a satisfaction rating of 378. This week's theme is weight of confession in Chizuru's opinion. The episode felt like a stark contrast between Chizuru and Kazuya's attitudes. Yes, that is the point, right? That is the point. But Ruka has this charm. Do you think that Ruka love got toned down in season 2 and 3? No? The fuck you talking about? Do you want to elaborate? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Can you please elaborate? Because I don't think so. I thought they loved Ruka. Well, no. If you're talking about season 3, yes. Season 3 actually did tone down Ruka. Season 3 did, in fact, she still got a lot of love in comparison to a lot of the other characters. Right, Ruka's model was more consistent. They did a lot of like stuff for Ruka in particular that I immediately noticed while watching the anime. But they actually trimmed out a decent amount of her shit, and they actually focused a lot more on Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship. In fact, and I've said this many times, despite season 3's massive weaknesses as an adaptation because it needed to be rushed, it understood Kazuya the best out of all the seasons, even though there were times where they did the same stupid stuff where they like clearly misinterpreted Kazuya's character in the visuals. Season 3, in my opinion, had the best understanding of Kazuya and Chizuru, but Ruka and Ruka in particular in season 3 got toned down just a little bit, not a huge ton, but just a little bit. Ruka in season 2 was not toned down. She was given the time she had allotted to her in the manga. That's just what it was. That was the time she was given in the manga. But in those times, they went nuts, as they usually do. The kiss scene is a great example. They like overtuned that stuff. The kissing scene in season 2 is literally like what Tekken is right now. Tekken is just overtuned characters. Everybody can kill you in like 3 hits. And you can't fight back. That's literally what they did with Ruka. They overtuned her in season 2. They went a little too hard. Anyways, let's keep reading this. Season 3 toned down Ruka to give way to Chizuru because this was the movie arc. It's after the movie arc they resumed the Ruka stuff. But that doesn't make sense because after the movie arc, it's season 4 and that's not out yet. So that's not really, an argument you can really make right now. Anyways, the confession scene to Chizuru continues, but rather than a serious confession, it feels more like a game to see who can win over the Madonna of Osakama North High School. If someone says, "Please go out with me," loudly in front of other people, you'll want to say, "I'm sorry." Yeah, right? That's something I feel like nobody was talking about too, is like how like, and it was bugging me when I was reading the chapter. It's like the way it's like, oh, nobody can get her, nobody can win her. And it's like, she's not a prize to be won, right? And I think in that way, they were taking Chizuru's autonomy away, just as Chizuru is now doing the same thing and taking her own autonomy away. She's not a prize to be won, and I think that's the horrible way to look at it, right? But it's something you often see in these high schools, and that kind of pressure is frustrating. But I also found it really interesting that when we're getting that flashback, we don't see Chizuru with other women, with other girls like her age. She doesn't have girls to talk to her age. She has her grandma, who's not her age. She's a mentor figure. She doesn't have anybody her age to talk to, and I bet if she did, like, those girls would probably tell her something she doesn't want to hear. The bag has the letters AN on it, which means Asuka North High School. On their uniform date, they wore winter clothes, but this time it's a rare summer version. Confessing through social media messages may be normal these days, but it's a lighthearted image. I can understand why Chizuru wanted to run away when he confesses with a friend, right? Like, dude, that, and isn't that the same exact thing? All of them are doing it in ways that are cowardly. The dude who confesses to Chizuru in the very opening page, let's pull him up. There it is. Yeah, there it is. So the dude who confesses to Chizuru in the very opening page has his friends right there behind him watching him and yelling in the background and fucking commentating. It's like when you're playing a video game and someone's just fucking commentating in the background. This isn't a game, dude. Like, what the hell is this crap? And then you go here and this dude confesses to her in a text. She doesn't even know how he got her number. She doesn't know who the hell he is. He's her fucking senpai, I guess. And that happens. And then this dude shows up and he's waiting for her, but he's waiting for her with his friend. And his friend has to tell him, oh, here she comes. It's cowardly. It's like they're little wusses. They're little fucking cowards, dude. Like when I confessed to my first girlfriend, like I did it when it was just me and her. And I tried to make time between just me and her. Like, and even then, like my relationship didn't work out because after that I learned confessions don't fucking work. But pretty much like that whole thing of just like, oh, I gotta do that. Remember how Kazuya did it? Remember how Kazuya asked mommy out? He got personal time with her to speak to her personally with no one else there. And he told her, please go out with me. And mommy said yes. Right? Like Kazuya, people don't see this, and it's kind of baffling to me. Kazuya is very courageous in how he asks people out. And when he says things and like confesses to Chizuru, ironically, the way he confesses to Chizuru, quote unquote, he was trying to do it in private constantly, and she would not let him. And so eventually his confession, where does it come out? It comes out in front of everybody, right? It comes out in front of everybody to protect her and to save her, even though like both of them at that point had this idea in their head that they wouldn't be together, right? So it shows Kazuya's bravery even when he's confessing in front of a bunch of people, in contrast to these people who use the people around them as a safety net. This actually matches with the themes and the conflicts of the current arc, which is that there are these external factors. When they're in Joypolis, what is a constant thing we see? I want to pull it up so you guys get a visual for what I'm talking about. We're in Joypolis. The characters are constantly surrounded by people from external factors. 363. That's a good one, actually. So, what do we see? A shit ton of people, right? There's a lot of people around them constantly. But what is happening now between Chizuru and Kazuya? Nobody is there but them. they're isolated. You're constantly seeing the massive scenery behind them and all of the people in the background far away. Nobody else is here but them. Reishi's intentionally creating contrast. I think it's also important to point out how much of the events with Chizuru take place during the day. Much of in the flashback. All of the events that take place now at night. Yin and goddamn yang. He is doing this constantly. The yin and yang theme constantly. Like literally all the goddamn time. So it's important to point out how like that element of like the external forces that are influencing your choices and how we turn to these social constructs for safety. We turn to friends for safety. We turn to these things for safety. We don't confront it alone. And what does Kazuya say when he finishes his date with Minnie? Do you guys remember what Kazuya said when he finished the date with Minnie? What does Minnie say to Kazuya when they're at the very end of everything? Let's pull it up. 353. Let's see. But this feeling, this one thing that never changes. A lonely battle? Challenge accepted. I can't rely on Yamori-san on the actual date. For starters, I even relied on Mizuhara the whole time. Sorry if my voice was spiking a little bit. To get me through my hardships with Mami-chan. I'll show her how much I've grown. I have to learn how to love on my own. And then he says this, and then everyone's like, wait, what the fuck is this about Chizuru? He expresses his love for Chizuru in front of Minnie. Not because he needs Minnie's safety, but to show he can do it on his own. Right? What is Chizuru afraid to do on her own? What did we just talk about that Chizuru is afraid to do on her own, even though she seemingly seems ready to do it here? She can't confess. She can't make a choice. She can't give her answer. Wow. That's crazy that Y'all, this is fun. I like this kind of analysis. This is fun. You guys are like experiencing my experience. I'm learning this firsthand, like right now. This is all coming to me right now. My headache is gone. I'm locked the hell in. Okay, let's keep going. Shiodora Cliff is a tourist spot in Hirota City, Nagasaki Prefecture. Chizuru's confession fatigue comes from her personality, where she cannot tell how serious the confessor is, and she cannot just give it a try with someone she doesn't know well or like, right? And I think that actually isn't that fitting that she kept trying to get Kazuya's confession in the Paradise arc, but here she is with confession fatigue, and here she is right now, technically speaking, struggling because she doesn't know how to answer and she has fatigue from Kazuya's confessions, and in a way, Kazuya was thinking earlier, like literally last chapter, he was thinking, oh, maybe I should confess to her, or like maybe I should talk about my feelings to her. Damn, dude. Okay, I'm starting to see some interesting patterns too here. Let's see. Sayuri tells Chizuru, don't keep people's affections in your pocket, and if you've already found an answer, dump them as soon as possible and let them find the next love. But the question is whether this applies to Kazuya or if it's a sign. That's the thing. It's both. It's both. Because she can't make a decision. It is literally both. We are being hoodwinked. It is literally yin and goddamn yang. It is both. Kazuya has been doing his best for Chizuru, such as making movies and going to encouraging dates out of his affection for her. But what has Chizuru responded to him? Is she really facing Kazuya? Isn't she just keeping it in her Isn't she just keeping him in her pocket? And the result of the investigation into Kazuya has already come out. Wow. Yeah. Isn't she literally just like, and if you view it from an outsider's perspective, it's very easy to interpret it as Chizuru just stringing Kazuya along. And this is almost, the flashback is almost calling Chizuru out on that behavior. If it's not love, then would it be better if both of them for both of them, if she dumped Kazuya and let him find the next love with Ruka? Except Kazuya won't ever really. I think Kazuya, like if Chizuru actually let him go, would never really get over her. Like I think even if if the feelings he had for Chizuru dwindled, if they like faded a little bit, even then maybe he could find someone else and be with someone else and be kind of happy. He'd never really let go of Chizuru. And I think Chizuru wouldn't ever really let go of him. I think she would actually just be sad for a very long time, and they both really wouldn't be okay. So it's like they can't, right? Like they're too close. They're like family. They can't let this go. Like they can't lose this. If you read only this, it could be interpreted as an implication that she should dump Kazuya quickly, but that's not actually the case. Mm-hmm. Let's keep going. Some readers may wonder, will Chizuru dump Kazuya? In the flow of the flashback scene, Kazuya has been putting off his confession, but Chizuru stopped him and said, I want to talk to you right now. This may be related to Sayuri's request to dump him as soon as possible. No, I think that's a misdirect. She wants to talk here, not simply. It's the area, it's the place they're at, it's the isolation, it's the fact that it's just them, and it's Chizuru trying to muster up the courage to do this on her own. But I think she might not be able to. In response to Chizuru's enthusiasm, Kazuya wants to run away from the situation, just like Chizuru wanted to run away. Remember how in the very beginning, Chizuru ran away from the situation, right? Like the whole thing we see at the very beginning of the chapter, it's literally Chizuru running the hell away from the situation because she doesn't want to deal with it. Well, Kazuya is now in that position, right? He wants to run away. I can't deal with this. I already fucking want to run, right? What is this strange feeling? What's going on? And that feeling that Kazuya gets, where he says, what's this strange feeling? This underlying sense of unease, that's real. Right? That's real. It's not just because it's playing out like a reality show. It's that there is something there that you're actually feeling that is not like good. But at the same time, there is something good there too. And it literally plays in the theme of yin yang, because like you have something good and you have something bad and they're balancing each other out. This is a stark contrast to Chizuru's desire to face Kazuya, right? But Kazuya is essentially playing her role at the beginning of the series. Let's see. Unlike Kazuya, Chizuru is not emotionally upset and calmly expresses her gratitude to Kazuya. As Kazuya fears, raising and then lowering and then raising are common techniques in Kanojo. However, in the J-Polis arc, Kazuya's feelings have been falling all the time because he is afraid of the investigation. So I think this time it will be a pattern of raising them. But that's actually what's been happening the whole time, hasn't it? Rise and fall, rise and fall. Like Chizuru has been doing. Kazuya literally says it. Chizuru's like a goddamn attraction. She's like a roller coaster. She makes him feel one thing at one moment, and then she makes him feel negative at the other. She makes him feel negative one moment, and then she makes him feel positive the other moment. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's because Chizuru, without meaning to, is essentially acting out a rental date while also being her real self, which is literally how rental dates have been for her. Chizuru started to say, but stopped. What was she trying to say? Was she simply nervous and chose the wrong conjunction? The readers and Kazuya were kept waiting in the end and didn't get to hear Chizuru's conclusion. But the maybe in the next episode seems to be a hint. Okay, so what do you got to say here, bud? I would like to have Chizuru say, perhaps what I feel right now is love, thus resolving the plot twist from the title. But based on the way things went this time, I don't think Chizuru will confess so easily. I don't think so either. Let's see. Sayuri said to Chizuru, keep people's feelings in your pocket, because she knows from seeing Chizuru's condition that she has no feelings for him. On the other hand, when Sayuri saw Chizuru talking about Kazuya in the hospital room, she said the moment love blossoms in a person is when you talk about them happily. So I agree with the ranking. Yeah, right? Like, it's supposed to be the opposite. It's intentionally misleading you. It is interesting that the only people who are unaware of Chizuru's love affair are the two parties involved, Chizuru and Kazuya, right? It's so funny how Chizuru does not see how fucking in love she is, but so does Kazuya because he's too afraid. The dragging out of the plot without action is a bit annoying. Oh, shut up. Especially with such a far-off reference when we know... Okay, no, this isn't... Look, I've explained this many times. a part of the events being longer than they should be is to fall in line with the characters themselves. In particular, Chizuru. Many said this, everyone has said this in canon, in the story, because a part of the story is that Chizuru is dragging it intentionally because she doesn't know how to make a choice. Not because it's out of character for her, but because Chizuru has become afraid to make choices, because choices led to the scenario we were in. Choices are what hurt her. Choices are what impact her. It is literally a trauma response, right? It is a trauma response that gradually became what it was. And we got hints of this as early as the beginning of the series. We got hints of this as early as the beginning of the series because in the beginning of the series, what did Chizuru do? Instead of coming clean to her grandmother, she makes the same exact choice as Kazuya when confronted with the same exact scenario, because these two are not so different. Okay, that's the point of the first two chapters being very, very similar and almost playing out in a very similar way. That's the point. It's because they were reacting the same events, except now in reverse. And that was the point. And so now, with current events in the manga, with events being the reverse of the beginning of the series, that's also the point. That's also the idea. So Chizuru had hints of that as early as back then, even though she had a goal she was committed to. The reason Chizuru was so confident in her choices in the early parts of the series is because she had a goal. She had something she was striving towards. But then when she reached that goal, when she lost that goal, when she made mistakes, when she hurt the people around her, and especially after Paradise, she started to really doubt her choices. What she's doing, she doesn't know. Especially considering, like, you saw how she gave confident answers to mommy and stuff before, and then she couldn't really do that anymore. It's not supposed to be clean, and I think it works. It's not dragging the plot. I really don't think it is. It's narrative consistency. It is narrative consistency that works, and that can feel frustrating if you're just in it for the confession. But when you break it down and explore it, it is a story that rewards you upon rereading. If you stop looking at it for the thing that you're expecting, you'll get what you want. You'll get something different, right? Like, I really genuinely think that. Heck, Final Fantasy, here's one. For anyone here who's played Final Fantasy VII Original, Final Fantasy VII, the remake trilogy, intentionally plays with people's expectations. And they literally tell you in the story, expectations often lead to disappointment. Okay? And then they give people an ending for the second game that was really fucking weird. But then the more people thought about it, the more they explored it, the more it started sounding, holy shit, they are cooking like crazy. That, and people essentially highlighting to other people that, like, hey, look, this isn't so different from Star Wars with the Empire Strikes Back, where when the Empire Strikes Back, people didn't like it because it didn't have a resolution. It didn't do what people expected when they walked into the theater. But just because something isn't playing out as we expected, just because we're not getting the thing we're expecting immediately in that moment, it does not mean it is dragging. And the fact that you continue to read, at least for those who actually engage with the narrative in full honesty and not like, surface level bullshit, you keep reading because it is doing something good. And the fact that I can dig this deep and find this much in this time, I feel like really highlights that. Now, I don't want to get into this conversation again because we have discussed this in the past a few times. So let me read some of the comments. I think I've been a little bit behind on some of the comments. Kazuya is a much braver individual than most people think. For some reason, viewers only see the less desirable sides of him. That's a very common thing for Kazuya, especially because Kazuya is not traditionally masculine, something we've discussed many times. Last chapter helped me finally understand the 3-month contact avoidance from Chizuru to Kazuya. Yeah, we talked about this. A huge portion of that was a part of the dragging, that Chizuru doesn't know how to make a choice anymore, just as in that sequence, she's dealt with so much stress and frustration that she doesn't know how to make a choice anymore. She wants to take the easy way out, and she needed Minnie to play Sayuri's role to get her shit together. And even then, Chizuru was still struggling to make a choice. She did to Kazuya what she did to those boys in high school. Except we don't know. Well, no, not quite. Not quite. It is implied that Chizuru might have broken up with those boys, but we don't see that actually happen, right? It's that lack of resolution in that moment, in that flashback. But it is implied to you that Chizuru resolved what happened, right? I have a feeling they'll argue and eventually come to a resolution and then both start laughing, and only then we'll show. Yeah, I mean, let's pull it up. That's literally what was said. That's literally what Chizuru said. Let me find. Believe it's chapter 248 or 49. 248. I'm just getting the official translations. That's what I'm doing. But I don't want to show the website, so, the thingamajig don't get pissed. Oh yeah, we were here. Okay, and let me pull up the chapter. Okay, these are the official translations. Kazuya asks her, "What's your ideal marriage?" Totally in love, huh? Yeah, well, I'll bet. That'd be nice. I'm not sure that's what I want. Every couple starts off as strangers, you know. There's no way two people can share the exact same values, as practical as ever. There is no such thing as a perfect person. You're gonna fight sometimes, and there will always be sides to your partner you don't like. But if something funny happens 2 seconds after a fight, I want to be able to laugh about it. That's the relationship I want. That's what I want too. Now let's read the fan translation version. I only wanted to read this version because, like, it's the official translations by them. So I wanted to read that version. But I like how the fan translations is phrased a little more. So let me pull this up. Even people who are married were once strangers at some point. It's impossible that their values would be the same. There's no perfect human being. There will be fights and there will be things that you don't like about each other. But if they can turn around and laugh about it 2 seconds later, that's the kind of marriage I'd like to have. Dude, the phrasing and the sentence structure is so much better, but you get my point. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to get into a fight. It's going to suck. They're going to disagree on things. They're going to get mad at each other. And, like, we'll actually see Kazuya finally let himself just get mad. Because he hasn't. Kazuya is not letting himself feel things. Kazuya is trying to restrain his emotions as much as possible as a mirror to Chizuru herself, who is also doing this. Chizuru is also trying a lot to restrain her emotions because she doesn't feel like she has the right to express them, in the same way that Kazuya feels shame and stigma for his emotions as a byproduct of Hawaiians and as a byproduct of a lot of stuff. Hawaiians was just a microcosm that highlighted the issues rather than the cause of the issues. That's the thing what people kind of misunderstand. Hawaiians literally just highlighted the worst insecurities and fears they feel. And it's not just, oh, here's this new thing just so they feel shitty afterwards. I think I've been framing it like that by accident when I was talking about it. But no, Hawaiians is the cause of the trauma, but it is not the source of it, right? The source of their trauma and their grief and their tragedy and, like, the insecurities and the fears that they feel is not because of Paradise. Paradise was the result of it. So that's the point. You're dealing with the result of these things. As of now, that's what I want too. Chizuru tells him, the hell is that? Are you crazy? Where is your sense of individuality? Right? So Kazuya finding his sense of individuality in a crew in a world of collectivism, which, by the way, that's like a whole thing in Japan. This element of collectivism is very core to this narrative. That's why we're seeing the characters constantly surrounded by a lot of people, because those people represent that. Okay, so that's kind of important. Okay, is the Ruka thing finally doing it? Are they finally making their announcement? Damn, look at Kazuya, dude. Yo. I'm so fucking scared. What is this? What is this? What are you showing me? What are you showing me? I'm so fucking scared of this. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. He looks so handsome. No, do not compare Kazuya to Ayano Koji. Fuck that guy. He sucks. Kazuya is looking crispy. Look at this man. He looks so cool. Look at his shoulders. He looks buff. Damn, dude. Kazuya about to drop a diss track. That's funny. But yeah, that element of, collectivism and finding your individuality, Kazuya has not been expressing that element of himself. He's not been letting himself feel and letting these things out. And that's something a lot of people have said. It's something you can see a lot through the very construction of this arc. So that's kind of important to point out, that Kazuya is at that point where I think Chizuru's going to make a choice, and it's going to lead to him really expressing his frustration and his feelings and letting them out, because he's just too annoyed. He's too frustrated. I have a feeling they'll argue and eventually come to... Okay, I've said that one. If she rejects Kazuya, maybe I may be very sad. I feel for him. I don't think she will. I don't think she will. I literally think Chizuru will say, I can't make a choice. And it's that... I think that might hurt more, that she can't make a choice. Think about that. The fact that a person can't make a choice on whether they love you or don't love you. Like, is that what I mean? Is that what I mean to you? Like, you can't decide if you love me because you're not, sure. Or maybe Chizuru will give like an answer, but then the answer won't feel confident, and Kazuya will doubt that answer. That could be another thing. Like, Chizuru might give an answer, and she's not actually confident in that answer. I think there will be a lot to discuss here, but I don't think she's going to reject him. But I think, like, just saying, I don't know, will actually hurt more, right? Like, yeah, you have to really process that. And now I'm starting to feel weird that the others are considering her rejecting him. Remember, this the point of this is to elicit that fear from you. That's the fucking point. And it doesn't make sense for her to reject him. Like, even this, I think even the Ruka posts are in some ways eliciting that feeling of fear from you. I'm gonna be fucking real. They are. Like, oh, look, Ruka's taking pictures of Kazuya, and they're like seemingly together and in love and ooh woo, even though Kazuya is not like showing that love. It's like, oh, what if Kazuya breaks up with Chizuru and goes in with Ruka? It's like, it's eliciting that fear from you, right? I felt that. I'm like, oh my god, what does this mean? Like, right? Like, that's the idea. You're supposed to kind of be afraid. Don't let that fear decide for you. That's kind of been the theme of the arc. So Reiji eliciting a fear from you is kind of important. Why do you think they went to a fucking haunted house that deals with this element of fear, and they have this entire thematic element of fear as a parallel to love, and how fear is making choices for characters? So right here, it's about like dealing with that fear, dealing with that anxiety, but don't let that fear define you. Paradise, it's not like we want her to reject him. It's just that we're considering all the angles. Okay. Let's see. I can't wait for chapter 379 next week. If she rejects him or approve of our MC, it's not going to be that simple. I literally said, you guys got to rewatch this. I really hope that no fight happens in the end of the day. It's going to happen. I'm confident. I'm pretty confident that there's going to be a fight. I'm genuinely kind of confident. I think there's going to be a fight. I think they're going to fight. It's been set. Here. Reiji has been building up a fight between these two as... Who are we kidding? It started as early as... Where is it? I think it's 171. The fight, these two having a fight started as early as chapter 171, right? Reishi has been setting up this element of a fight for a little bit here, right? But the fight set up for this current arc really kind of started in like chapter 252. This is where it started. Right? Kazuya doesn't understand Chizuru. He seemingly like says this stuff. Chizuru says it really does. So look at Kazuya's face. They're about to get into a fight. You can feel it in your goddamn bones. They should have fought here. They should have gone into a fight here and then afterwards kissed like idiots. This is what should have happened here. It should have been like a goddamn sitcom. This is what should have happened here. Except you get to chapter 253 and what happens? Oh, wait, this is the bad scans. We got to get the good scans. What happens? We get to chapter 253 and Kazuya backs off. Even Minnie felt it. She's like, Minnie felt it. She's like, you should have swung. Dude, why weren't you swinging? Why didn't you throw hands? And interestingly, for those who read Maison Ikkoku, this happened there too, right? The character, the main female lead wanted the main character to be mad at her. I think that's a part of it too for Chizuru's character. I think Chizuru wants Kazuya to be angry and to be upset and to be bothered. She's upset that he's not expressing himself completely around her. And a part of that is that she feels guilty and she wants Kazuya to express his anger and frustration with her because he's not showing that. He's not showing like how much she actually hurt him. And I think that might be a part of it. This baggage that needs to be resolved. And what ends up happening here? Minnie and Chizuru get into a fight. And then that's what happens, and Kazuya feels sad and eventually gets drunk and passes out as a byproduct of their actions. Okay, so that's not like, Kazuya's fault, but Reiji has been building them into. They're gonna get into a fight. I feel it in my bones. I've been feeling this for a while. They're gonna get into a fucking fight, right? Yeah, I hope Kazuya tells Chizuru again that she's so dumb. I think so too, right? It's the choice paradox. It's meant to be paradoxical. It's not supposed to make sense. That's the point. It's meant to be paradoxical. That I don't love you, but I don't not love you to double reverse. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. I don't think she'll say that. Maybe she will. And maybe he'll think of that moment with Umi and he'll be like, what the fuck? Did she say, oh my god, right here. If she pulls that, that'd be so funny. Don't pounce on me, but what if she says she loves him when in reality she doesn't know? Could be interesting. I said this. I think that's one of the guesses I had. It's like she might give an answer and it feels half-hearted and Kazuya like picks up on it and he feels something is wrong. He feels something is wrong and he'll point it out. Yeah, this chapter, why Kazuya was so mad, I can't remember. Well, you don't remember why Kazuya was mad in this scene? Kazuya was mad because Chizuru is not expressing herself. She keeps like putting up a wall and she's seemingly not bothered by the fact that they lost their home. She acts like very cool and comfortable. And Kazuya literally says that to her. He's like, why are you acting cool and comfortable? Aren't you sad at all that we lost our home, that we can't be together anymore? And Chizuru, like, that's a part of Chizuru's insecurity. A part of Chizuru's insecurity is that she's not expressive enough. She literally says this when she's talking to Minnie about Ruka. She literally says, Ruka can be so passionate. She can be so expressive. I feel envious of her because I cannot express myself like that. So this is kind of the play on that, where what happens here is Kazuya gets mad at Chizuru, or not so much mad, but just like frustrated with her because he's like, you're not expressing the fact that you're sad that we lost our home, this place that we shared together. And Chizuru, you see it in her eyes. Let me see if I can. No, okay, let me pull it up. 252. Okay. Listen to it. Look at... Doesn't it make you sad or something? Look at her eyes. She's hidden in shadow. There's a blank expression. She looks kind of sad here. So what does Chizuru do? She takes a sip, liquid courage, and she expresses herself. She lets it out. She lets out her feelings. She's like, you know what? Fine, I'll let it out. I'll let these feelings out. And Chizuru is picking a fight here. Chizuru is picking a fight here. She's like, you know what? No, I do feel things. And this is actually a direct nod to the very beginning of the series, because at the beginning of the series is literally Chizuru at the beginning, Kazuya treating her like she's, wow, oh my God. Do you guys remember what Kazuya said to Chizuru at the beginning of the series, which is now informed by this chapter? Holy shit. Holy shit. That just clicked for me. Oh my God. Why are you doing this? What do you get out of it? What? Because you're a pro? What's the point? In the end, you're only going to be together for one day. You're just going to break up with them. So what's it matter how you feel about the other person? Right? And let's keep reading. I might look like an idiot right now, but said my piece. You don't even like us, but you play this game of pretend love with us. What did Sayuri say to Chizuru? What did Sayuri just fucking say to Chizuru? Contact them, turn them down, right? Listen, Chizuru. You will likely encounter many men who will profess their love for you even after this, but don't become some shallow girl who treats people's feelings like spare change. If you know your answer, then turn them down immediately and let them move on to someone else. Okay? So Chizuru had this moment here where Kazuya said this to her, and she gets mad at him because essentially what Kazuya is kind of saying to her is that you don't even feel anything for us. You don't feel things. So why are you acting? Why are you playing this out? She's just like, shut the fuck up. I do feel things. I do express. I'm a person. I am a human being. I have feelings. In this moment where Reiji is writing at the very beginning of the series is a fundamental criticism of waifus, of these fake companions that we create, that we interact with, that give us no challenge, no real humanity. They are something that makes us feel good, but we can never truly interact with them. They aren't something real, right? Chizuru is fundamentally saying here, I am not that, shut the fuck up. I am a character, I am a person, I have feelings, and you need to shut up. And the very nature of rental as a construct in this story is literally to criticize that. It is Chizuru playing a pretend love that you can never truly have, just as a waifu, when you're watching an anime, is falling in love with someone else and she's not a real character and you can never truly talk to her or connect to her or feel anything real for her in a meaningful way. You can't even argue with this person. They're not real. So in that way, that's what Chizuru is kind of doing. That's what Kazuya is frustrated with. And this is how Chizuru says, no, I'm not that. I'm not this unfeeling robot. I'm a human being. Shut up. You can't just pull this shit on me, right? This is literally Chizuru challenging that. In that same way, that chapter that we were just reading comes back to that idea. Do you not feel something? Do you not feel sad? It is the same argument being replayed. And there's a reason Reiji is referencing when they finally live together. Let's go to the chapter where they start living together. I believe it's chapter 255 or 254. Let me pull it up. Clean. No, it's 255. I was right. 255, when they start living together. What is the first thing that Reiji shows when Chizuru is sitting in her room? She's unpacking her stuff, and she sees the first ever outfit she wore on the date with Kazuya. And the room zooms out. Kazuya just says, let me die. Let me die. Just let me die. And then they live together. What influences Chizuru to make this choice? The moment they met. Right? Chizuru in this arc is making a lot of emotional choices, right? She's trying to let emotions kind of guide her because she's never known how to use her emotions in such a meaningful way, I would argue. It's a very important conflict for her character to essentially break out of the waifu structure, if you will. That Chizuru is not a trope. She's not a tsundere. She's not these things. She's a real character, a real person. And that conflict for Chizuru is kind of important to kind of learn how to make her own choices. So yeah, that's kind of the thing I want to point out. So let me catch up on some of the things people were saying. Part of it may also be alcohol talking, but they're surprisingly sober despite the alcohol taboos they drank hours ago. Except Chizuru almost kisses him while he's passed out later, which is, the bad A word that I don't want to say that I talked about with Ruka before because I don't want YouTube to demonetize me. AS, that's the word. Or no, SA. SA. That's the word. I feel like I may be in love with you, but because of my work, I can get into a relationship. So I'm saying, no. I feel like that'd be stupid. I mean, the Isekai incident versus the hot boss session, that is, yeah. There is a parallel between the two, but one is like very quick. Yeah, I think that's something we'll have to compare later. He doing that I do not love you is a big middle finger to Umi. Hey Faye, I missed that last stream and I just joined. Sorry since you've probably answered this already, but what do you think she's going to say? Or what do you think she's going happen after that chapter? I guess I kind of just answered that. I don't know when you joined. My guess is that she's going to leave the choice to Kazuya. I think that's what Chizuru might do, because she's been doing that the whole date. She's been taking autonomy away from herself and trying to let Kazuya make the choice. So she will say something along the lines of, I don't know, because I don't know, you should make a choice. You should, do you want to still be with me even though I don't know? Like, a part of me wants to be with you. A part of me, like, doesn't feel like this is love, doesn't feel like this is good enough to be love. And I think that will frustrate Kazuya because it is unfair and kind of wrong to say that. Like, it's supposed to be your choice. You need to take this, you need to make a choice. You need to go through this lonely battle. And Chizuru is kind of not making a choice. So that will hurt more and that will lead into a fight. And after the fight, they may laugh about it some more, I think that was the first time that Chizuru loses her temper in that level. In the very beginning of the series? Or are we talking about, like, because if we're talking about the Isekaya, in the Isekaya, it's Chizuru, like, trying to lose her temper. She's trying to let herself feel things. She's like, you know what? You're telling me I can't feel anything? I'm going to feel something. And you can feel kind of like how, like, you can feel Chizuru's anger is kind of weak in a sense. In this time, Chizuru's like feelings feel weaker, not because they are, but well, kind of because they are, but because Chizuru can't like express herself fully because she's depressed, kind of. And this is Chizuru getting over her depression slowly, like starting to like feel like she has a family and stuff. And I think Chizuru is like really underestimating and misunderstanding Kazuya's love, and I think that fight will let them truly express how they feel about each other, right? I think it would be super fitting for Kazuya to get mad at Chizuru because he's never really gotten mad at her the same way she's gotten mad at him in the beginning of the series. Like what I just showed you, the first chapter we saw, Kazuya has never gotten mad at Chizuru in such a way that's completely justified. Except for maybe that chapter 171 where he tells her you're so dumb, but he's not really mad, right? He's like even it's a slight callback to the beginning of the series, but it's not quite that. I think we need a moment where Kazuya just gets fucking pissed. It's like, you know what? Fuck this. This is stupid, right? He just gets mad at her and he's like, you're just running away. You're not being honest with yourself. You're just running away and you're just afraid. That's all this is. You're just fucking afraid. And like that, they get into a fight, right? Like he just tells her, what the fuck is this shit? Like that is starting to click. Oh my God, it is starting to click. Even if she rejects him, I could imagine Kazuya getting mad at Chizuru. Why? Because remember what Chizuru says here? What the hell is the big idea? What kind of moron are you? Why would you start yelling like that in public? People were staring. And what was that shit earlier about feeling empty and that shit about strangers? Seriously, are you a moron? I'm just your rent-a-girlfriend. That was the deal, wasn't it? You're literally paying me to do this. Who clicked I agree to the terms and conditions here? And another thing, what the hell was that 1-star review you gave me? Did I do something wrong? Your little review brought my rating down a full 0.3 points. Are you listening to me? Until now, I've had nothing but 5-star reviews, and I take pride in that. And I've never half-assed my job before here. I even went and bought a book about fish and all that stuff, right? This is the real Chizuru Mizuhara. Honestly, this is unbelievable. I could see that happening with Kazuya, and it would be so fitting. He'd be like, okay, what the hell is all this shit you've been doing during the date? What is all that? You keep showing me that you love me, and then now you tell me you don't? What the fuck is this shit? Like, I think that would be so perfect, right? Because even if she says she doesn't know, if she says she doesn't know, if she rejects him, regardless of what choice she makes, I can see Kazuya getting mad because it's just like, so why say all that stuff? Why act like that? Why bring up any of that? Like that shit where it's just like, how many kids do you want? Are you gonna cheat on me? Are you like, what else does she fucking say? She's just like, oh, if I was your girlfriend, or if this, or if that. Why would you say any of that if you weren't fucking serious? I could see Kazuya genuinely be like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, why would you do any of that if you weren't serious? If you were gonna do all of that, and then in the end just reject me, what the hell's the point? Why? I think that would be so fitting. I really see Kazuya and Chizuru getting into an argument, and Kazuya is the one who's mad. He's just mad at her. He's like, what the fuck is this? And it's more so funny. Like, I genuinely think of it as gonna be more so kind of funny. And eventually, like, they'll realize how funny it is that they're just arguing over super dumb shit. They'll realize how fucking stupid they were. They might see something in the background and they'll just fucking laugh about it afterwards, like when they're arguing. And I can see Chizuru in turn getting mad too. Like, I think both of them are gonna be just equally mad because that matches the theme of yin and yang and the whole theme of balance and bridges, right? Like, I genuinely think that might be what happens. Like, I think they're just gonna get mad at each other and just start fucking yelling and losing it. Especially considering next chapter is chapter 379. 9 is the number of pain. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So my laughing at the end holds weight. I mean, yeah, you were right in that front. Like, I definitely agree there. Yeah, if my prediction is right, that's really annoying to be honest. But from Kazuya's side, I hope he does crash out. I think Kazuya is gonna crash the fuck out, and I cannot wait. I want him to crash out. I want everyone to be like, holy shit. I misunderstood your game. I want people to say that about Kazuya. It's like, oh shit, I misunderstood your game. I was not familiar with your game. I want people to fucking say that about him. That'd be so great. Just Kazuya absolutely crashing out. And that happens in Maison Ikkoku too. In a different way. But like the main character does get like eventually just frustrated to hell and back with the girl he's in love with because she's just being wishy-washy as fuck, and she keeps giving him indications she's interested, but then one thing goes wrong and suddenly she's not interested, and it's like, girl, what the shit? And everyone calls her out on her shit, and literally everybody starts calling her out on her, just like everybody's calling Chizuru out on her shit. Like, everybody's constantly calling Chizuru out on her shit here because Chizuru is being kind of stupid, and that's kind of the point. I think we're just gonna need that point where it's gonna happen. It's just gonna fucking lose it. We need Beach Kazuya to come out in this arc, minus the hitting, obviously. I don't think. Oh, that's different. That's different. It could be similar. It could be similar. Like, yeah, minus the hitting. But Kazuya only swung because Kibe swung first. Like, Reiji literally wrote, like, Kibe's the character who swings first, asks questions later. That's Kibe's character. He's the character who swings first, asks questions later. But that's not Kazuya. The only reason Kazuya swung at Kibe is because he swung first. Kazuya usually does not hit Kibe. He doesn't hit people. But Kibe is just like, motherfucker, I'ma beat your ass. And interestingly, in the live action, like the dude who tried to attack Chizuru in a physical way that is the R word, and he, there was drugs and shit. That person, Kazuya beat him up. Kazuya like found him, ran after him, and like they had the camera like this, and Kazuya like jumps into the camera. Like, has anyone ever seen the Markiplier jumping into the camera? Let me find it. Markiplier punches camera. Yeah, Markiplier punches you. So this, like, this was literally Kazuya in the live action when he was chasing the dude, and it's so fucking great. He ended that man's whole fucking career. He just fucking killed him. And then he like ostracized him as he was getting arrested by the cops. I'm like, damn, let him have it. Fucking destroy this asshole. That shit was so great. Like, Kazuya will throw hands if you're like an awful human being, or if you like, you know, if you swing first, he'll throw hands. The dude can swing. I think that was so fucking great. But yeah, I don't think like the fight isn't going to be physical. And even then, actually, that reminded me of a scene from Maison Ikkoku. There's a scene in Maison Ikkoku where the Kyoka, the main female character, or Kyoko, the main female character, knows she did something wrong. She knows she hurt him, and she wants the main character to hit her. She hates herself that much. She hates herself that much that she wants him to hit her, and like it's supposed to be like a slightly older series, so like, you know, that back then maybe it was okay to do that, but you know, not okay at the same time. And literally the dude raises his hand, he's about to swing, and he can't do it. He just taps her face like this, and she's like, what the fuck, hit me? And he's like, no, I don't want to, I can't, I like you, I love you, right? And he just can't do it, right? He just can't hit her. Like, he can't bring himself to hit her like she wants him to. So yeah, like Maison Ikkoku is like, there's a lot of inspiration from this, but at the same time, it's almost like Maison Ikkoku is what is it? Maison Ikkoku is Sayuri. Sayuri is Maison Ikkoku because Sayuri would be around that age when Maison Ikkoku was written. So Sayuri's experience and the things she's left behind for Chizuru is essentially the Maison Ikkoku of the stuff. But Chizuru's trauma is similar to Kyoko, but not quite the same, because Kyoko can't move on because she can't like let go of her husband who passed away, right? She's a character defined by grief, just as Chizuru is defined by grief, but not the loss of a romantic love, but the loss of her parental family, that kind of love that's lost, and that's the grief that defines Chizuru. Let's see here. Now I kind of hope the fight happens. Yeah, I really think it will. So me laughing at the end. Hold away. I want a panel of Chizuru going, whoa. That might happen. It'll be funny if the other people in the park feel a bad omen based on their argument. That'd be great. He was trying to pull a Bill Cosby on Chizuru. Who? Oh, yeah, you're talking about the live action, that dude that Kazuya beat the shit out of. Yeah, Kazuya beat the shit out of him and like took him to the cops like a goddamn vigilante. The dude pulled a Batman. He found Chizuru before anything happened, like chased the dude across the hall, and then the dude like tripped, and Kazuya just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Yeah. Shit reminded me of one scene of the Alvin and the Chipmunks when Alvin and Simon fights Theodore's bully. How Maison Ikkoku is spelled. Yeah, that's how you spell it, Maison Ikkoku. I'm nearly crying, shaking, laughing, just picturing Kazuya crashing out. Fight. Yeah, I really think, like, hold me to this. If a fight does not happen, hold me to this, okay? You can hold me to it. If a fight doesn't happen, you can hold me to it. But I genuinely believe this fight's gonna happen. If a fight does happen, spread the word. Spread the word far and wide. Turn on the flames. Light the flames so now all of China knows it was me. By crashing out, you mean like Kazuya and Chizuru walking up someplace after they fought? No. Crashing out is a term where someone like loses their shit and like freaks the fuck out and like gets mad and angry. Like that's that kind of crashing out. Not actually throwing hands. Nobody's gonna throw hands. Kazuya threw hands with like Kibe and that one dude from the live action, but he doesn't usually throw hands. I think more so like crashing out is a better term. Kazuya's just gonna lose it. He's just gonna get fucking upset and annoyed. Like, okay, this is crashing out. Chizuru here, this is crashing out. This is Chizuru losing her absolute shit. This is crashing out. This is what I mean about crashing out. I can imagine this happening because Kazuya, like Chizuru, is acting and like restraining himself and limiting himself like her because their roles are reversed. Kazuya is the rental boyfriend, if you will, and Chizuru is the real girlfriend who's acting and doesn't realize she's actually playing the role in reverse, just as like they are here in a sense, right? So in that sense, I can see them crashing the fuck out. Like, I can see Kazuya really kind of losing it. And it's just like, what the fuck is this shit? What are you saying? What are you talking about? This is silly. We need a fan edit of the penguin car chase in the Batman, but with Kazuya and the hotel guy. A what? Penguin car chase in the Batman, but with Kazuya and the hotel guy. That's maybe. Sam Wishtek from Transformer crashes out all the time. What size of shoe do you wear? And the scream after Alex Transformers. Is that from like the live action Transformers by Michael Bay, which is kind of mid? Or are we talking about like the Transformers from like the actual thing? I think she's gonna say I don't know, and Kazuya cracks. Yeah. We'll see. I think it's gonna be I think events are gonna play similar to what I described, but not as simple as I made it sound. Anyways. Wow, we went through a lot. What did you guys think of the breakdown? I think the breakdown was a little different this time. Let me pull up the comments section and read what some of the people said, because I said I would read the comments section. Grandma Sayuri did her best to raise Chizuru with her grandfather, as she did well to raise Chizuru. Hi, Proxima. Oh boy, this one seems long. I don't know what will happen if she rejects him now, but I think I have a slight idea of what will happen if she says yes now and still the story doesn't show any sign of ending soon. Well, Reishi has set up quite a lot for the story to continue, even if Chizuru says she loves him, because he's set up like trips and stuff they can go on. He's clearly, one thing Reishi said before he stopped streaming on Fanbox is he was trying to figure out how to continue the story after the two get together. Or like how to continue the story naturally. And like one way he figured out was like the cohabitation saga is how he wanted to continue. And I get it. Some people were like, oh my God, so that's confirmation that he's padding. And in some part, you're not completely wrong. In another, he found a way that earnestly works for the characters and isn't just forced, you know? But at the same time, he clearly indicated in many different ways that he wanted to, you know, continue the story through other means. Maybe possibly after they get together. So there's already signs that there's more to it. Then First MC will tell Rook. First MC, you mean, why doesn't he just say Kazuya's name? Okay. First, okay, whatever. We'll tell Ruka that he and Chizuru are dating now, so Ruka will move on, but soon the bitch mommy will expose the true identity of Chizuru to everyone, and it will be a mess. And Chizuru, okay, that's not happening anymore. We already had that happen. That would be redundant and doesn't make any sense. This person, why do you spell mommy Miami? Go underground, cut her contact with Kazuya, and then suddenly she revises a letter from a big director who wants to play. Wow, this person is. How strict are dating rules in Japan? Chizuru literally said in chapter 179 that it's actually very common for people, for actresses who are dating to come out and say that they're dating someone. It's mostly for Japanese idols, because idols are like, you know, idolized. So, you know, if they come out as dating, it seemingly ruins their career. And that's why the idol industry is fucking terrible. But actresses are completely different things. There are many actresses who openly come out about dating and being in a relationship and shit. And there's constant scandals and stuff. No, that actresses and Japanese idols are two completely different things. Okay, you have to recognize that. Like they do similar things. Like an idol has to know how to sing and do all that other stuff and like present her, like, you know, all the idol shit. A voice actress and a voice actor usually have to be able to not only voice act but sing, dance, and do all of that other shit. because unfortunately that is the nature of that industry. But just because there's that commonality between an actress and a Japanese idol, it does not mean they share the commonality of the same criticism that the other receives. Japanese idols have it much rougher in some aspects to actors because actors have more control over themselves, whereas Japanese idols, they unfortunately don't have nearly as much control. So that's something I really wanted to point out, and in particular, like Chizuru is clearly aware of her agency and like the issues and the struggles that come with her possibly dating Kazuya. Chizuru knows she's not an idiot, so and she's openly told Kazuya in chapter 179, like, oh no, it's very common for actresses to actually be dating and pretty open about that. So no, that's not the issue. She chooses love or chase her dream, and we all know that she will choose her dream, except this entire arc has been structured around the idea that your dream might not be worth it if you don't have the people around you. The very nature of Chizuru's dream burned her out because she couldn't, like literally, she couldn't keep chasing the dream in earnest because there's no one to chase it for. The fundamental nature of Chizuru's dream is rooted in her chasing it for her grandma, right? She was doing it for her family, for the people around her. It's not just for her. Sometimes it's like, for me, I can't just do this just for like myself. It's not completely for myself. For me, it's a part of it is you guys watching. A part of it is how the audience receives what I'm saying. A part of it is I think of how you respond to this. I think of the people I talk to. I think of the people watching this. It's not solely for me. And the connections I make through this, right? Like a part of this is for me, yes, but a part of it is for the people around you too. And it's not that simple for Chizuru. Chizuru's finding meaning in her dream through Kazuya, through Minnie, through the people around her, because she's seeing how like the actual acting business around her doesn't fucking care about her, right? So this is Chizuru finding her dream through that way. So no, I don't agree with this. So now MC will be depressed because, okay, well, I'm not going to do that depressed thing again. Blah, 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 blah. Fish, something like RMC, do you think something fishy because we have a complex love triangle? Or we do. The love triangle isn't the issue anymore. I think people are too fixated on the love triangle when that's not really been a thing. If anything, it's a love circle. But yeah. Anyways, let's see. It's interesting that the panel about it wouldn't hurt to try dating them provides an explanation of why she became a rental girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah, well, it kind of informs her mentality a bit in that respect, but also how in doing rental, she's actually channeling what Sayuri taught her and treating others with respect, creating clear boundaries, but dating to help those struggling. It's a combination of those ideas in some ways. This flashback might inform why Chizuru was so apprehensive to tell Sayuri about rental, as it kind of might go against some of what she said here. Let's see. Okay, I think that's roughly it. I think she knows what she's going to say, and that's why the sky cleared. If it is the clear, straightforward answer, it's a whole different story, though. I think there. So I've said this before. I don't think the sky clearing is Chizuru knowing her answer. I think the sky clearing is Chizuru knowing maybe how she wants to like do the answer, or what she wants to say, or what she wants to do, but not necessarily the answer to her struggle, right? The clearing of the sky is kind of the clearing of the fog to some degree, but that doesn't necessarily mean she has her answers. We'll see. I think there's a whole chance a lot is firm a no at a point, but for reasons both how the story has been presented and also the commercial reasons. But it probably won't be a firm yes. So probably, see, even they say it won't be a firm no, but it probably won't be a firm yes. Isn't that what we've all been feeling? That it won't be a no and it won't be a yes, and we don't know. Isn't that literally what's happening? Like, Reiji has intentionally created the scenario to make it so there is no yes or no. It could be both. She probably would be so nervous she was saying yes in a straightforward way. I would agree, but then what about all the previous signs? What about the maybe teaser? I don't know. The story has never been a clean one, so it doesn't feel quite right to have it just be a messy yes. Something is telling me there's a little more we're not seeing. I did a little analysis yesterday, Twitter, and ironically support your claim, and yet in so doing, I think because we don't quite catch the stuff I mentioned during the chapter, there might be more at play here than meets the eye. I wouldn't be surprised if something that none of us quite expected. I might have predicted it. I don't really know what. Like I said, I don't really expect to know something aside from the way. Like Chizuru has essentially been telling us the answer the whole time. It's neither no or yes. Um, Shiorji can afford to do after such a long build up. Yeah, like he can't do this build up and not give us a resolution. He can't. He can't do that. It's not the same as Paradise. Paradise, like he's been Paradise throughout Paradise, he's constantly telling us in Paradise, this isn't going to play out how you expect. This isn't going to play out how you expect. Chizuru keeps running away. You're not going to get an answer. You're not going to get an answer. And then he gives you an answer without giving you an answer. And people were pissed because they're like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Here, it's different. He keeps telling you there will be an answer. There will be a resolution. The resolution is coming. In Paradise, it wasn't so much about giving a resolution. It was Kazuya trying to get a resolution, keeps saying there's a resolution, but the story keeps telling him, no, 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 right? But this is different. We have gotten basically none of our thoughts the whole day. Yeah, we barely hear what Chizuru is thinking, right? That's very important. So if she had a moment where things clicked, we wouldn't really know until she tells us. We had signs where we saw things clicking, but the big thing to remember, and you just reminded me, is that Minnie's practice date informs this date. I'll have to talk about this in the stream, as Minnie has also subverted expectations in the Chizuru, like the way by the end of the day, so we might be able to glean some stuff from that. Oh, that reminds me. So the way the whole Minnie thing ends, the practice date, if you remember, it was slowly building up that Minnie seemingly liked Kazuya or seemingly felt something. And a lot of people were like, oh my God, Minnie likes Kazuya. But then it subverts that by recontextualizing the events and telling you, no, it's not that Minnie liked Kazuya. It's that Minnie was observing like Chizuru. And maybe there were feelings there in some way, shape, or form, but it's clearly platonic. And it's intentionally designed to like misdirect your gaze, to trick you. So now that we're reaching this point, this is supposed to kind of like play into that, to like subvert that, but also to make Kazuya go, what the fuck? What was the point of everything you were showing me before? Just like when we were looking at the whole thing with Minnie, you were thinking to yourself, oh, so what was the point of everything you were showing before? The point is that we didn't understand what was going on with Minnie. It was a subversion of these events, and that you expected it for Minnie to be in love with Kazuya, when in reality, it was just Minnie observing like she is in a romantic relationship, and that she doesn't feel confident in being in a romantic relationship, and that she might be braver than she thinks, right? And then Kazuya is essentially giving her that hope in the interactions they have together, not necessarily in him dating her, but that Minnie might be stronger than she thinks, or Minnie is helping Kazuya see that he is stronger than he thinks. So, and just like Minnie helping Kazuya see that he's possibly stronger than he thinks, Chizuru might help Kazuya see that he is worth more than he thinks, right? Like he's probably thought throughout this entire day, he's kind of worthless, he's not good enough, right? But then now he accepts his own self-worth in possibly being treated in such a way by Chizuru and getting frustrated by her, right? It's like, what the fuck, girl? But okay, so that's that. Hey, 69, nice. Nice. Okay, oh, wow, we went through a lot. What time is it? It's 6:36. Let me check Twitter if there's any new announcements from the thingamajig. A lot of people wonder why I like Rent a Girlfriend so much. Right? I better save this. I better save this. I always like look for old threads that like I lost or like really far back. So this is kind of nice. Actually, I get to save these. Yeah, that's the thing I read earlier. Yeah. Oh my God. Is the Ruka thing gonna show me anything soon? Oh, Reiji retweeted it. So we got that. We got the Reiji retweet. Did I retweet it? Look at the handsome devil. It should have been me, not him. Okay, what? Okay, so what would you guys like to do now? We pretty much did all of our analysis for now. What would you guys like to do now? We could try watching the hate video. I don't know if I should save that for tomorrow. The only reason I'm like possibly debating continuing the stream is that the only thing I'm possibly continuing the stream is because I'm hoping we last long enough for the Ruka thing to have some sort of announcement. I'm hoping. I don't know if we'll. I don't know how. I don't know if that will even happen today. It might happen like in the middle of the goddamn night. So I don't know. But yeah. Let's see. A lot of loose ends are still present for other characters, even if they get together. Ruka, Mami, Sumi, Mini, and everyone who still thinks Chizuru and Mizuhara are two different people continue to milk. No, no. Almost everyone knows they're the same person now. It's very much heavily implied that Chizuru told her friends that they know. Yeah, it was very much implied that Chizuru told her friends and like off screen. So no, that's not the case. Ruka, Mami, yes. Sumi is Sumi feels like something she has to do herself. Minnie, not so much. The family and the friends, kinda maybe. But it's less about them and more about Kazi and Chizuru's choices. The whole thing has been removing the external characters and focusing on the main duo themselves, what their choices are, and not what other people decide. Chonya Boyo gave me hardcore PTSD 3 mall and led me to finding this series. It's almost fate. See what I did there? Ha 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 ha. He kind of looked like Arata here, no? Does he? No, I don't see it. Arata has longer hair. So I don't quite see it. But yes, I do see it with the eyes a little bit. The way Reiji draws the eyes is a little similar. Let's see. Love seeing Kazuya art. I need more of the handsome guy. I see the reaction Minnie had during the PD was essentially her experiencing Kazuya's feelings for Chizuru so completely she could help her own reaction. Yeah, maybe. Personally, I would save the hate video tomorrow, please. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I was feeling that too. Are they love instead of personally I would save the hate. Yeah, I personally felt that too. I really didn't want to do it today, to be honest. I was kind of burned out anyway. I'm not in the mood to get pissed. Like I think I felt a lot better going through this, and like this actually made me feel a lot better because I had a headache. I still kind of have my headache, but like sitting through this and like theory crafting like this and coming up with stuff felt very fun. So that was kind of nice. But yeah, so I'll save it tomorrow. It's the stare for me. Yeah, it's kind of the stare. That's literally what I said. It's how he's looking that's doing it. He's not like, I don't know. Arata has like oh my god, it says coming soon. What is it? Tell me. Let me in. Let me in. I want to know. Okay. Tripping out. Is his hair black or orange? Kazuya's hair is naturally black, but he dyed it orange. Or not, yeah, or orangish. Funny enough, in high school, so weird note, my hair, if you can tell, is like kind of darker. In high school, I dyed my hair kind of like Kazuya. I was trying to dye it blonde because I liked, what was his name from Fairy Tail? It was Luxus from Fairy Tail. I used to love Fairy Tail. I don't really like it that much anymore, but I used to love Fairy Tail. And I loved Luxus. I thought he was like so fucking cool. So I tried to dye my hair like him because I wanted to cosplay him for Fanime when I was still back living in California. I, of course, didn't know how to, I didn't want to bleach my hair, so I just dyed it, and it ended up kind of like Kazuya's. And the funniest shit happened. That ended up starting a trend in my high school, and like, I genuinely believe it was me, because nobody was doing that before. And suddenly, after I do that, everybody started dyeing their hair like this. Like, I don't even know if I still have a picture of it. But yeah, like I dyed my hair kind of like Kazuya's in high school, and everybody started doing it too. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why did I start a trend in high school? I know his hair is dyed orange, but the image has some strange coloring. Oh yeah, no, it's the lighting. It's literally the lighting. He's giving a blue hue to everything. That's why. So here it comes off looking kind of muddy and greenish. He's actually using more green here rather than orange. Um, but it's supposed to be like kind of more orangish. Um, Damn, Johan was that guy in high school. Not really. I was kind of the weird kid in high school. I was the weird edgy kid in high school. But I guess I did stuff like that without meaning to. I guess that happens, right? I know the hair. Yeah, okay. There's naturally black, but he does it orange. Yeah, I don't know. What should we do now? What would you guys prefer we do now? I could catch up on the Shiunji family episodes I didn't watch, cause like I skipped. As you can see, I I need to watch episode 3 or episode 4, episode 5 and episode 6. But we did watch episode 7 and episode 8. So, I do need to watch those. Should we do that? Oh my god, why are people leaving in droves? We had like 25 concurrent viewers and they're all gone. They all left. Ouch. Watch a little bit of the dub. Oh my god. Fine. 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 I'll watch a little bit of the dub. Just for you. Just know this will not become a regular occurrence. And make sure to let me know if the Ruka thing gets announced. There we go. Okay. So probably the first episode. All right. Audio, English. Let's do this. The announcer's okay. No, it works. Okay, keep going. It's okay. I don't know why. I don't know why people are. I don't know why you said it was bad 3D model. It's okay. This isn't that bad. It's not like it doesn't have the same emotional depth in the character exploration, you know, but it's not that bad. It's okay. Oh, I'm seeing some of the issues. The way the line is delivered here is a little weird. It started off okay, but when they're talking about like weird emotional stuff, Arata sounds kind of weird. Like it doesn't feel like a first take, but it doesn't feel like the feeling is kind of understood here. And he's not initially. This dialogue sounded stiff, which was interesting because like it's supposed to kind of sound stiff. Arada's talking in like big boy words, so he sounds a little fucking weird. But he's also acting it out because he's trying to sound smart and cool. But it feels weird in how they're doing it. Oh, they changed. I also think I don't like Shion's voice. Not that he's bad. He sounds too mature. I think there's like a naivety to Shion's voice that I'm not catching in how they're delivering it. Oh, and they're not saying, "Oh, that's." I guess the localization. is Minami's voice? What is what is Minami's voice? It's so deep. Minami's voice, it's so deep. What? What? Why is Minami's voice so deep? That it doesn't sound right on her. It doesn't sound right on her. It sounds weird. Minami's voice does not sound right on her. She's like the spunky 15-year-old sporty girl. She doesn't sound spunky. She sounds older. Yeah, she sounds too old. Aoka is okay. She's not like, she's serviceable. And then Shiha sounds a little weird. Let's see what Banri sounds like. What was that? Uh-oh. Minami miscalculated 6 plus 3. What was that? What was that Banri delivery? Like it didn't like the line is read in Japanese and the way Banri says it in Japanese is like did she just miscalculate 6 plus 3? Like that kind of sense of like, oh god, I'm kind of worried about my sister right now. That kind of vibe. I don't really get that. I just get like, haha, my sister's uh-oh, I guess she fucked up. Like that kind of vibe. It's the meaning of the line seems completely kind of fucking lost. That's kind of weird. That's a weird ass delivery. Okay. Stop. I can't. Why does she sound like that? Why does she sound like that? Why? Why? To be off now. See you next time. Okay, take care, Verkez. I hope you enjoyed. I'm only waiting for the Ruka thing, so take care. Dude, why does Minami sound like that? Yeah, I'm watching the dub and I'm reacting to the dub and I don't understand why Minami sounds like that. She sounds like she's 20. She sounds older than 20 actually. What? Yeah, now that you mention it, Shion sounds really old too. Shion sounds too old too. That was the thing that caught my attention. Shion sounds too old too. It's not just Minami, it's Shion too. Why are the two young characters sounding too old? Ugh. Velzekiel. That's how you say it. They changed the dog's name from Berserk to Velzekiel. Okay, whatever. Fight that sleazeball to death and defend my honor. Yeah, you know, he kind of sounds okay. I will say Arata sounds okay. Oh, no, no, she doesn't have the laugh. She doesn't have the laugh. Aoka's laugh in the Japanese is fucking peak. You're like, oh, like that, like the stupid rich girl laugh. She has the stupid rich girl laugh. She does not have that here. Blasphemy. Okay, I'm trying to find Kontno. Okay, let's hear Kontno. Okay, I gotta clear this up. Why does every character sound too goddamn old? They sound too old. They don't sound like their age. Kono doesn't sound like her age. Kono does not sound like she's a fucking middle schooler. I don't. Wow. I really don't like Kono. What did they do? That does not sound like she's like, what is she, like 13 or 14? She sounds like a grown woman. Like that, her voice is too deep. She does not sound like her age. And there's no, her voice doesn't have like the no, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have like the same emotion as the characters. Like how do I put it? Like Kono has this like embarrassed tendency to her voice where she sounds like, oh well, yeah, something like this, like yeah, I know, I'm just not that flexible, like this. But that's contrasted by her bold demeanor where she changes from this shy girl to this very bold character, and that's very intentional in how she's presented. It's even in the Japanese. I don't hear that from her at all. Like she's just talking like a normal person, right? It just feels like she's just reading the line rather than like acting the character. I kind of like it the way you do it best, big brother. It sounds like it sounds like a porno, man. What the fuck? It's like why? Why? It's like the kind of stuff that doesn't translate well in English, I think. Like, yeah, Oni-chan doesn't sound that great, but it's a much more natural thing people say in Japanese. So it sounds more natural when they say it. But for us, Big Bro has essentially been turned into like like literally you see it in like adult video titles, right? You see it in adult video titles. So it sounds weird in English, right? It doesn't sound natural. I think this is kind of an issue that was going to inevitably happen when you interact when you interact with Japanese language that uses Japanese as a base, and sometimes you can do it. Sometimes you can localize it into English and do it in English, but sometimes it just sounds weird. It just doesn't work because of the nature of the language. And that's just another example here. Like literally it sounds like a porno title. It sounds like she's saying a porno thing. Like it doesn't feel right. And I remember seeing this with the fan translations when they were doing the fan translations. I remember feeling a very similar thing. Like when she says it in Japanese, it probably sounds, yeah, a little awkward but more natural, which is kind of very fitting for her character. Here it doesn't sound natural at all, like which is just very unfortunate. Like no, what does she say? Let me play it. I kind of like it the way you do it best, big brother. Do you see the implication in that? Yeah, she says big brother, not yeah. So it's yeah. Arata's voice actor is actually doing a decent job. Arata's voice actor is actually doing kind of a decent job. Everyone around him just comes off a little stiff. It's like it's the depth of their voice, the concavity of it, the lack of nuance in their voice. But Arata is like a little simpler, so he's probably easier to voice act, and in so doing, it gives him more depth. Now he's sounding kind of bland. Yeah, he when Arata gives uh when Arata gives so Arata loves to lecture people. Arata loves to lecture people. He's like, "Oh, do this, do that," right? When he does this in the Japanese, you can literally hear his voice change a little bit. He's speaking with a more like like a dad voice. He's speaking with more of a dad voice, and it's a little subtle. I don't hear it at all here. I don't like again some of the subtleties kind of being lost. Now, to be fair, I can't completely blame this on the the dubbers, on the people who are doing the dub, because the unfortunate truth is they probably have to do this in like with barely any time, with barely any corrections. I've heard this a lot. I've heard like a lot about like dubbing and how like a lot of times they barely have time to like like actually to do other takes and stuff like that. Sometimes they do it like immediately. They don't have time to like do things well. So this isn't really surprising. And to add that with the fact that they're extremely underpaid, which is very, very common, it's actually quite rare that you get a really good dubbing for a show. And not super rare. Like you still do get good dubbing, but it's more often than not you'll get a dub that's like either serviceable or just good. It's at least for me, I've rarely seen a dub that's just amazing. Like Solo Leveling is like one of the few where they got Alex Lee, who if he's very passionate about a project, he'll put his absolute fucking A game, and will like correct and change the script and change stuff and like fight tooth and nail for something to be acted well. But then if he doesn't care, he'll just do what he did with Kazuya, right? Like I recall like seeing some Solo Leveling, and it's like you could tell they like went next level for it. But the unfortunate truth is I kind of don't fully feel that here. I feel like they're doing a decent job, but the voice cast isn't amazing. Yeah, it's like Arata just gave her a lecture, and she's like, "All right, whatever you say." Not okay. That's how Kono's supposed to be responding. She's like, yeah, I got it. Like, yeah, whatever you say, bro. Like something like that, right? But here it just comes off as kind of awkward. She's just like, yeah, whatever you say. Like it just feels like she did the first reading. Yep. Okay. So here, the perfect frame. The perfect frame to stop. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Um, it's serviceable, but like a lot of the nuance of the characters is just like completely lost. But it's serviceable. It's not great. It's just serviceable. Damn it! Is the Rukas thing still not out? Come on. It's 7 o'clock. It's getting late. It would be cool if Siha's voice in the dub is monotone, kind of like Hale 2000 when she's very sick. They tried to, yeah. 3D models, right? They tried to do Siha in that way, but it sounds a little stiff. Like, I think all of them, almost all the cast, kind of fall into that trap of like just reading the lines. And so while it somewhat works for Siha, it still feels a little stiff in execution. I can't quite pin it down. It still feels a tad stiff in execution, but not like completely. I did kind of like what I heard from Siha. Like she very much had that kind of vibe to her, but it's not perfect. I guess it's not fair to say it needs to be perfect, but you get my point. You get my point. Okay. How long have I've been streaming for 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's 7 o'clock. Watch it like it. Watch me like stop streaming right now, and then they just release it. Just to fuck with me, just to screw my day. So okay, I guess we'll come back tomorrow. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. I might get up early tomorrow because I have a shift from 10 to 4. I might get up early tomorrow. So what I'll do is I'll if the Ruka announcement happens while I'm asleep or during the night, I'll stream early just to talk about it real quick. And it'll be like a short stream. It'll be like maybe 30 minutes or something. I'll just talk about it real quick. And then I'll close it up and I'll get ready for work. And then after I come back from work, we can talk about it some more if there's like any more news. And then I'll also be doing the hate video watch. How's that sound? Does that sound good? You'd essentially get 2 streams tomorrow. Does that sound interesting to you guys? People are quiet. Nobody's responding. That sounds good? Okay, sounds good. Okay, in that case, I'm glad we did this stream. It was very fun. The predictions were very, very fun. I had a lot of fun making this. Oh, there's an ad. There is an ad. Wow, this is the first time someone said there was an ad. Well, I guess I'll check one more time right now just to see if there's anything. Come on, come on, come on. And it's written in English. Coming soon is written in English. I'm a night owl, so I might get wind of it. I might be like up a decent amount. I just don't think I would stream it today because the stream was already like rough. There's a bunch of ads back to back. Oh, geez. Sorry about the ads. But yeah, we had this. And then we had the Kazuya one. What if I put these back to back and that'll be the cut? Like these are gorgeous. Can we like address the fact that these are gorgeous? Right? These are beautiful. Holy shit. And like some of it is like a tease. I'm like, damn, Ruka took these pictures? That doesn't seem like Ruka. And then the picture of Kazuya, look at this handsome devil. Look at this guy. Look at him, and this is so funny. This is so funny. the fucking hair, dude. I feel like it doesn't make sense because she has the ribbons. So wouldn't the ribbons be showing here? I feel like the ribbons would be showing here, but they're not, which is really funny. And yeah. So I guess I can make like a dedicated Ruka stream, pastel paintings. I think rather than like pastel paintings, they're like lightly colored, not fully colored. Like it's light coloring that Reiji does, because these are like the initials of how he makes the volumes. That's how he usually starts the volumes. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow there will most likely be a stream for Ruka in the morning, and then after that stream, we will have a stream later in the evening to look into this stuff. Yeah, what is this? What is this? Is it an anime? What is it? It's really bugging me. I really want to know. I really want to know what the hell this is. But no, they're gonna tease me. They're gonna drag it out. They're gonna drag it out. The ribbons are the ears. No, well the ears. Oh, god damn it. No, the ribbons are because your shoulders are supposed to be the ears. You know what? Screw it. Fine. I'll just stop thinking about it. I don't need to think so hard. Yes, the ribbons are the ears. There you go. Yep, they blended with the ears. It'd have been funny. I just think it would have been funny if there was like 2 ears. I don't know, but I'm gonna stop thinking about it. I don't need to think so hard. Yeah, so we had Kazuya, Ruka. Yeah, I think there's supposed to be something on Ruka's shirt. I think there's something on Ruka's shirt that we're not seeing, and we're gonna see. Maybe it'll be a maid cafe. I don't know. Beats me, man. All right. I think that's it. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow mornings, and we'll go from there. The ribbons should be casting a shadow, but don't. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm kind of beat. I'm kind of tired. I'd like to relax a little bit, maybe play some Final Fantasy or something, or I don't fucking know, something. And let's close all of these. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this stream was fun. I also have to edit some stuff and make some videos, and we will go from there. But yeah, I had some fun. I hope you guys had some fun too. I hope this was one weird alien cat with 4 ears. Yeah. I hope this was fun for you guys as well. And I will try to do some video work soon and get those uploaded. And then tomorrow we can also watch the hate video. But yeah, I've been Fate. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, for those who are new here, please subscribe with the like button and the bell icon. Keep up with the uploads. And remember, consider checking out my Patreon, because I have a Patreon that I'm still trying to figure out what to put on there. But if you'd like this kind of content and support me, I would really appreciate it. And finally, that's it. I think I've run out of things to say. Oh, check out the Discord. Check out the Discord, because we have a Discord that I'm still trying to figure out how to use, because I'm not very good at Discord. Okay, I've been Fate, and remember, let's mosey. Okay, that's it for the YouTube stuff. And okay, fellas, have a good day. I will see you later. Take care. Bye bye.